Ultimate Avengers, the movie.
The planet's being threatened and we need a tough team to handle it.
Captain America. Iron Man. Thor. Black Widow. Giant Man. Wasp. And the Incredible Hulk.
Hello and welcome to Brand X Reviews. In this one I'm going to be looking at the Marvel Ultimate Avengers films, the animated films. Now these are two films that you can get. You can get either in a box set together or you can get them individually like this. It'd probably be better to get them in a box set where you get both of them together. It'd probably be cheaper for you. I just got them individually because that's how I found them in the shops. But they are the same content anyway, as far as I'm aware. I think there's a few different box sets that you can get. I think there's one that's got both these films and a couple of other things as well. So if you shop around anyway, you'll probably find the best deals. But just to explain what the Ultimate is, it's not like a generic word that they've just thrown out. The Ultimate is a series of comics, a limited series of comics that started in 2002, I believe, for the Avengers. What happened is the Marvel Comics decided that the characters of the Avengers were getting a bit kind of tired, maybe worn out. I don't know how they put it, but that's my interpretation. So they rebooted it. They did a lot of kind of fundamental things just to change the characters, just visually and concept-wise. One typical example that is apparent in the film that they did in the comics was they got the Nick Fury character. He's the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now the Nick Fury character had previously been a white guy up till about the last sort of 10 or so years. In fact, he was even played by David Hasselhoff at one point in a TV movie, but we'll come to review that at some later stage. But when they rebooted it anyway, they changed him to an African-American character who was clearly based on Samuel L. Jackson. I say clearly based, it was done with his permission. He signed the rights for them to use his face in their comics. So it was no coincidence when, in 2008, the Iron Man film came out and Samuel L. Jackson had a cameo after the credits. That was no coincidence because he went along with it because he'd previously signed up to being that character in the comics. He was happy with it. He was a fan of it, in fact. So this is the character that we get in the Ultimate Avengers movie, animated movie from 2006. These films came out in 2006, so these were a couple of years prior to the Marvel continuity, you know, beginning with Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk, Thor, Captain America and the Avengers, all those films. These came before that. Now, the first film is pretty much a lot like the Avengers Assemble film, the live-action film that came out in 2012. You've got an invasion on New York by the S.H.I.E.L.D, which is like an alien race that first appeared in the Ultimates comics, from what I understand, in 2002. So that is very similar to the 2012 live-action film that they did. And it also deals with the characters first getting together to work together. So again, it's a lot like the live action film. It's just like an animated version of that. Now, there's a few other little things in this. It starts off with Captain America during World War II, and it shows what happened to him and that he got frozen in ice and then woken up 6 or 7 decades later to join the Avengers and to join it with S.H.I.E.L.D. So that's all shown at the beginning of this film, and it kind of goes on from there, and it deals, like I say, with the characters all getting together and the S.H.I.E.L.D invasion, which starts in New York. So as I say, it is a lot like the live action film from 2012 that came out. Other than that, not really much else to say. It's a PG certificate, so some people said it might be a bit too violent for younger children. I don't know. I mean, if you're a parent, just use your own judgment, I guess. But the extras on this are pretty good. It's got a couple of featurettes, that kind of thing. Kind of talks about like the decisions they took when they started doing the film. You know, basing it on the Ultimates. So that's pretty much that anyway. It comes in a couple of different covers. This is the one, if you're going to get it individually, that's kind of what you need to look out for. This has got like a cardboard shell on it as well. So that's what it looks like on the, if you see it on the shelves or anything like that. They're not expensive, you can get these off Amazon or eBay or Play.com, wherever, fairly cheap. If you see them in shops like H&V, they can charge an arm and a leg in there in comparison. But that's the first film anyway. The second one, in fact, one thing I forget to mention actually, the characters that are in this, although I say it's like the live action film, it's not got Hawkeye in it. It's got the main characters, Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, the Hulk, Nick Fury, and it's got Black Widow, but it also has Ant-Man, or Giant Man as he's also known, and Wasp, which are two characters that kind of work together. Ant-Man is a character that in 2015 is going to have his own live action film. He's going to be played by Paul Rudd, the actor. That was announced fairly recently in the last week or so. But so if you're interested in who Ant-Man is, I suppose if you watch this, you can kind of get a grasp on who he is and what he does, kind of thing. But like I say, it doesn't have Hawkeye. That's pretty much the only sort of character difference to the live action film, but other than that it's very similar. I keep saying that, but I can't really emphasise it too much. The second film anyway is a direct sequel. It follows on pretty much straight after the first film. It's called Ultimate Avengers 2 Rise of the Panther.
He thought he could do it alone, but to succeed, the Black Panther must join Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, the Incredible Hulk, and all of the Avengers in the ultimate rematch, Ultimate Avengers 2.
It's good to be back.
There's a character called Black Panther who is in a comics, and he's kind of a typical superhero character who comes from this island called Wakanda. His character kind of ties in. They're fighting against the Chitauri as well, because under this island, Wakanda, there's a meteor which has this metal vibranium, which these Chitauri aliens, they're trying to get it, and so that involves an invasion of Wakanda, which means that the Black Panther has to kind of team up with the Avengers. So you can kind of see where that comes from. But it's very similar to the first one in its kind of theme. This one is a 12 certificate, so again, I mean the other one was a PG, and like I said, these films kind of, there's not really much criticism against these. I've heard it be said that they're a bit too violent for younger children, but they're a bit too kind of cartoony for older people, so it's kind of stuck in the middle. It is kind of difficult to tell who these are aimed at really for that reason, but I mean I enjoyed them. I'm a bit of a geek, I mean I'm into sort of cartoons. You've seen my review of the 1966 cartoons, and I like watching them, so I don't have a problem watching these anyway. But extra features on this anyway, there's a very good documentary which is about 25 minutes long called The Ultimates, and it's the people that worked on the comics that these two films are loosely based on, and it explains like the process that they went through when they rebooted the Avengers characters back in 2002. It's quite an informative documentary as well, so if you're into comics or wanting to get into them, this kind of thing's pretty good because it tells you like what there is out there, so it might make you want to go out and kind of read some of these graphic novels if you find it interesting. So it's kind of good seeing stuff like that, because when you get into comics maybe for the first time, you don't really know what there is out there. You just kind of see things, but you don't really know exactly what the background story is to a lot of like graphic novels and stuff. So when you see these documentaries, it kind of explains it. So it's quite a handy thing to watch, you know. There's a few other things. There's a promotional first look at Iron Man, which was another animated film which I've got, and I'll probably review at some later stage. There's another promotional thing for the Doctor Strange animated film as well, which I've got, and again I'll probably review that at some later stage. Doctor Strange is another character that he doesn't appear in any of these, but he's going to have his own film that ties in with the Marvel films at some later point, probably 2016-ish. That'll be a few years away yet, at least 2016 before they do that. But that's that anyway. That's my review of these films. As I say, I would recommend them, whether you're if you haven't already seen them anyway. If you're a fan of the comics, or if you're a fan of the films or whatever, or the cartoons, These are very good. I did enjoy them. I've watched them probably 2 or 3 times now. So that's pretty much my endorsement of these anyway. So again, hope you got something out of this, and if you check out brandxreviews.com, there will be plenty of other reviews coming your way soon, and there's plenty of reviews up there already. I think this is probably like the 40th review that I've done, so if you check back on the website you will see plenty more. A lot of my reviews cover things like the Marvel stuff as well, like X-Men, the films, and cartoons, that kind of stuff. So anyway, like I say, I hope you enjoyed this review, and check the website for future updates, because there will be plenty to come. Thank you very much.
So, Fury, who you got in mind to lead this little scout troop?
To make this team, it takes extraordinary abilities and an attitude to match.
Take it easy, old man. Now you're gonna see what today's hero can do.
Extraterrestrials.
Come on, little green men.
If they learn to work together,
Thanks. I'm not used to being rescued.
they may just survive long enough to save the Earth.
Hey, we're not finished yet.
Ultimate Avengers, the movie.